going on, friends? Hello, amigos. How are you? We ready for some rock and roll? I know I am. Happy Thursday. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are. I'm happy to have you here. Much love to all of you. We're going to do an old man listens to Off. How many of you like the heavy? Hey, by the way, 420, anybody want to join me on a smoke? I haven't rolled any, but if you'd like to join me on my first smoke of the day, I've had an edible. Salute. Family bong! Everybody. You guys good? So I'm kind of looking forward to this. I guess you guys know that I'm looking forward to this, right? I would not say that I began as a fan of Off. It took me a while, mind you. I remember like when Off first started recording, I didn't know a whole lot about them type of thing, but I noticed that they had a certain pop immediately. Like people were very excited about what they did. I don't think that when they started, that I had enough knowledge of some of the members of the band, and I just didn't know how to get to it, but I did, you know. I eventually found out that Stephen McDonald of Red Cross and now Melvins is in it. Singer of Circle Jerks, whose name always escapes me, and it's not on the back of the cover. I'm going to do some show and tell. I'm going to show some albums. Keith Morris, thank you. And you know, you would think it's a pretty obvious name too, but Keith Morris, yes, thank you. But I think I've reached the point now where I'm excited at what they do, and it feels right to have the new record and play it the whole time, you know, live stream. I mean, of course I realize that many of you, anybody who really was motivated to listen to, actually, can you do me hold on a sec. You're right, Fantoma released this. Let me do a really quick, let me just do a real quick tag of Fantoma's review, okay? You guys don't mind? This is the part of the show where I got to do all of the networking and all the rest of this, but I think that it's important, and I hope you guys don't mind, you know? For me, if other people get to enjoy what we do, I think that that's good. Listening to this stuff together kind of works. I don't know what to expect. By the way, just so that I know, if you guys want to, I mean, I know that there's a lot of Fantoma fans here. And I mean, I think I've expressed more than once how I have respect for him. I truly have respect for the way he works. I have respect for what he does, and I mean, most of all, I have enormous respect for what he's built, what he's grown. He's a fucking machine, okay? And his work ethic is something that I really admire. So, please understand, as much as it might seem like a weird thing, I don't watch Fantoma. Okay, I don't watch the needle drop. The reason I don't watch the needle drop is because I don't need a review. I prefer listening to it myself, and there's only so many hours in a day. So I mean, if I'm doing this show, right, and I'm listening to music on my spare time, and I'm spending a bit of time with my family, there's only so many hours. Believe it or not, I've cut down on my sleep because of it, but still, you know? That doesn't mean I'm not curious. What did he think? Did he like it? I mean, I know Fantoma to be somebody who is open-minded enough, sound-wise, his sound palette, his palette, okay, is wide enough that he'll give anything a chance. But he's always been big on off. Yeah, okay, that would make sense. You know where it is that I regret the most, Foster? I know that for a little while, Off was touring with Dale Crover of the Melvins on drums. I would have given anything to be there, man. Yeah, dudes, much love to Fantano. Much love to him. You know, he's the fucking giant. I'm not jealous of that. As a matter of fact, if anything, I'm proud of that. He is somebody who built his channel to the point where people fucking take him massively serious, and Drake takes the time to diss him because he doesn't like something. What he's become is fantastic. It's not his job to agree with you. It's his job to do what he does. That's it. And guess what? As much as there are people who watch the needle drop and get all fucking freaked out when he doesn't agree with them, that's his job. That's what you like about him. That's what you like about him. You know? Now for me, I have only one other off record. Okay, I have this one here, Wasted Years, and I'm looking to get the first one. I'm not a guy who really is going into to go into the 12 inches and that kind of thing. I don't do that. Okay, I'm EPs I'll do, especially because some EPs are so long. They call them EPs and they're not EPs at all. Okay, but I have to get the first record still. I think it's self-titled. My journey with Off started here, Wasted Years. I love it. And with the format, since I'm basically doing old school radio, talking to you about the music, with respect to every other DJ, and I have massive respect for DJs who are selectors and put together a set that flows well. I have massive, massive respect for that. But it's not what I do. I slow down, I talk music. I like talking about music, and I like sharing knowledge. Platin Papst, how are you, man? Look who just rated us. You honor me, sir. I'm very much a fan of what you do. Friends, how do you say Guten Nacht? It is 10:30 p.m. in Germany, sir. Guten Nacht, my friends. I hope to learn more German as I come along, because in April I plan to come visit Germany. I will be there to do some record digging. I know that I will definitely be in Hamburg, but I'm not sure where I'm going from there. I'll probably do some traveling, and I'd love to, if there are any of you who like the idea of having a drink and maybe going record shopping, I would absolutely do that. I promise that if I'm going to Germany, I'm going to shop for records. Philip, I'm so happy to have been exposed to this corner of Twitch today. Thank you, Philip. I'm not sure that you'll agree after you listen for a little while, because I'm not going to be playing any hip-hop or funky stuff, which Platin Papst really focuses on real well. I do everything, right? So right now what we're doing is we're doing a live stream of a, what do we call off? Do we call it punk? Do we call it hardcore? Again, people hate terms, and I kind of do too, because they can be constricting, but they can be constricting and only if you use those terms in that way, if you use those terms to build walls around a certain type of music. I don't see musical terms the same way. I see musical terms as signposts that lead you in a certain direction. General signposts. I don't see them as walls. And I think that that's the big difference. Like a lot of people who have a problem with terms, yacht rock is a big one that people are upset with. It's because they see those terms as walls, whereas I see terms like that as signposts, directions. So here we are, we're going to listen to some Free LSD is the name of the record. Just as you pronounce Guten Abend. What does that mean, if you can tell me, please, Eisenman? Guten Abend? I'm going to do you know how much German I want to understand? Can I tell you? If I can learn how to speak as much German as Lemmy spoke, I'd be happy, I think. Lemmy played so many, Lemmy of Motorhead, of course, right? Motorhead played so many concerts in Germany, like Germans adore. Like, I mean, Europeans in general, but Germans fucking adore Motorhead, adore him. And I understand, I cried when he died. So, when he'd get on stage, he'd be able always to speak a couple of words to his crowd, and he knew that once he stepped foot in Germany, he played any city there, they were going to turn up. I cried when Lemmy died. I watched his funeral live, actually. He's one of my biggest influences of life, honestly. He was one of my role models, because for him, the way he lived was good, bad, or ugly. Be yourself, be authentic all the time. You're ugly sometimes, that's life. Life is ugly. His big quote was, listen, whatever people tell you about me, I said it, I did it. I don't have fucking time. I'm too busy living. Alright. So look, here we are. This is what we're going to listen to. This, by the way, for all of you new people, is known as the preamble. When it is that I do these old man shows, they take on certain categories. Preamble is me talking to you. What I'm going to do right after that, and soon I'm going to do it actually, is I'm going to do the product review of this. Okay? So I'm going to actually inspect the record itself and go through all of the things to let you know what I think of the physical product. And then we're going to listen to the music together in a live stream, in community. And you don't need me to be a critic there, because you have your own ears. So I think that my opinion doesn't matter. I think that personally, I mean, this is a personal feeling, but I have too much respect for music and art to grade it. I don't want to grade art. I don't want to do it. I'm not comfortable. What it is I am comfortable doing is presenting art to a bunch of people, listening in community, and for everybody to draw their own conclusion. And those people who like it will go out and buy it. And if the reason it is that you go out and you buy the new Off record is because you heard it here in a live stream with 50 other people, then that's a cool thing to me. You understand? That's the way we used to do it old school. You'd hang out, you'd drop the needle on a record, you'd have a few drinks, you'd have a few smokes, and you have a good time. You have a community experience together. That's what the best Twitch streamers understand. You have a community, work with that community, make them feel comfortable. You're not just playing music. You're more than that. You're a host. So for me, I take that seriously in these old man broadcasts. What it is that I think is that I'm doing is I'm hosting an event. I'm hosting for an event for anybody who wants to listen to this record together. Not so that I can critique it. Well, I guess I'm going to critique it because I'm going to give my feelings on it. But not so I certainly don't assign a score. But so that we can listen together and see for ourselves. The people who like it are going to go buy it. And I absolutely encourage you to go buy it. How many of you are here because of Plattenpapst? I would like to shout him out because he's certainly been somebody who's helped us work towards getting to 10,000 followers. We're getting there too. And what it is that I told him is that we will be, so for all of you who are fans of Plattenpapst and listen to him, I'm a fan of his too, and I would like to help share my audience with his. So, all love, friends, all love. This platform, Philip Lux, in which case you are welcome here. If you like what I do for real, you can feel free to subscribe to my channel. I don't want you to subscribe to my channel unless you feel that my channel is good and it's worth supporting and I give you something that's worth supporting. I don't do the show the way everybody else does. I do radio. This talk part of the show is an important part of the show. A big part of the talk that I do right now is talking about how much of a positive experience I'm having with the Twitch community. I'm loving it. Really, I am. And I'm not in control of any of it at all. I'm just another fucking player, and there are people with way more listeners than me. And I don't feel bad about it at all. I love it. If anything, I get to know the communities. and I get to know the artists, and I get to know the people who are putting these shows and selecting these tunes, and I get to talk music with them. And you can see, if they're not talking music back with me, then okay, there's no connection. But there are some people where I wind up talking music with them. Platin Pops is one of those. Mark in the Dark's another one of those. There's people, AJ, there are people that talk to me about music. And please understand, as a Twitch consumer, I've never used Twitch other than a tool to broadcast. This is the first time over the last month that I've actually been a consumer, that I've been a fan, and I've been listening to other channels. And I'm beginning to understand how this entire thing works. And I'm happy to help other channels do exactly the same thing, because the Twitch DJ is the new radio. We are it. Please understand, what you're doing is you're the new radio. Prepare yourself for that. Because people are discovering new music through you and through your selections and through whatever it is that you present on Twitch. You're not just a DJ. Some people want to know the songs that you're playing about. So you're an influencer. And this influence will only get bigger as soon as all of the major labels strike copyright deals so that we can use their music. Maybe charging us a license or something. Maybe. But all I'm saying is we are the future of radio. We are the new influencers. People will come to our channel if we make our channels good enough for people to continue to support and continue to listen to. And it's happening. It's absolutely happening. So, I'm all about being able to help my fellow man with that, or woman. If you're doing something that I appreciate, if you're doing something that I enjoy, why wouldn't I share with you? We can work together. I believe in that. And I will till the day I die. All right. You're happy to be subscribed if it means that you don't get blasted by loud ads all the time. Yeah, I understand that. And guess what? I have to do the ads. You know why I have to do the ads? Because I have to make a living. And actually, I just started an ad right now for that reason. Okay, so I get it. But we're all trying to figure out the way to do this. And I think that if we share each other's knowledge and we share each other's passion and we show kindness, I think that that's the best thing about Twitch. Honestly, Twitch rewards good behavior. Thank you for your follow. Twitch rewards kindness. Because if somebody raids you, they're doing you a favor, and then you go do the same thing back to them. And guess what? If you're doing it only so that you can get the raids, after a while the people are going to see it. I'm telling you. If they see that it's not honest, Platin Paps will eventually see this guy's just fucking out for himself. But when you see a real bond, you know that it's for real. So it makes you want to share. How do I know? We talk music, for real. That's how you know. We're bonded through music, through our love of music. We need this. Philip, you shouldn't give up because there are publishers like me or content creators like me who do it from the heart. This, to me, is radio. I am a professional broadcaster. I am on every fucking day, practically. And I go on for 8 hours a day because I want to get to 9,000. I want to get to 10,000 followers. I want to get there, and you guys are going to help me get there. That's why. Get it? All right. So yeah, man. Do I have mods? Right now, I don't really have mods. No, believe it or not, I'm doing it all myself. And I'm learning the platform when it comes to that. But what I do have is, I have an incredible amount of knowledge. I have a true passion for music. You know, it's funny because the comment that I get very often with new people is, when I saw that wall of vinyl, that was enough to make me subscribe. And what you guys don't realize is that that wall of vinyl is just a small part of the collection. I have a lot more records than what you see in the camera. This entire wall here, all vinyl. There's another huge wall of vinyl on the other side and another L-shaped. There's a lot of records in here. I've spent my life doing it. I love it. I'm passionate about it. To me, being able to live stream the new off record, especially for those who have never heard it before, that's old school radio. That excites me. That fucking excites me. Even if one of you go out and buy the record, or you buy a concert ticket because you heard it here first, that makes me proud. That tells me that I'm doing my job. You understand? And the way it is that you show me that you appreciate my work is you subscribe to my channel, because it's important to support independent radio. Not because you have to, because you don't. I'm happy to speak to everybody. I'm happy to do the show the way I'm doing it. I've learned many things over the years of doing this, and I'm happy to have all of you here. Hey, Raiders, can I ask you for another little question I should have asked before? Only if it's good for you. Please refresh your browsers so that we can get the host. It's this stupid little thing that Twitch does. So we want to get credit for the host so that it helps our numbers. I do that every time I raid somebody, just to help them. You don't have to, though. All right, folks. Here's where it is that we clip the show. I'm done with my preamble. What I'll do is start the physical product review. If somebody can keep a timestamp so that I know when I'm starting these things, because I'd like to be able to put the timestamps on YouTube, you know? Or what it is that you could do is simply leave a comment on YouTube with the timestamps, and what I would do is pin your comment. Okay? Let's see. Oh, and once this show is over, it's obvious we're going to talk about a lot of music here. During this, it happens every time. These nerd conversations, we're going to talk about a bunch of music. We're going to name drop a bunch of artists. And the second half of the show will be me playing those artists. We're going to do a radio show based on what we thought while we were listening to Off. I guess the best place to start is with a little bit of show and tell. That's always fun. Yes, but you can put us on your suggested listeners, by the way, or your suggested broadcasters. There's a button that allows you to go to suggested broadcasters. I'm going to prepare one with the directions one point. This is where I started with Off. Wasted Years. Short album. Fantastic, though. Okay? It's like before you started, it's gone. That's kind of what a punk album is, though. This is the only Circle Jerks record that I have up to now. Up to now. And I love it. I'm very much a fan of hardcore. These are some of the originals, you know? And the singer of Circle Jerks is the singer of Off. I've said this before. Long-ass braids. And, I mean, I'm showing only one. But oh, fucking, I forgot to get the Red Cross. I have a Red Cross, too. The reason I'm showing you Melvin's record is because the bassist of Off now plays bass with Red Cross, with the Melvins, and with Off. So the dude works in 3 bands. I'm not sure if Red Cross is still active. Maybe you guys know more than me. Is Red Cross still active? So, I should have gotten my Red Cross record. I have one Red Cross record. They look like kids on the cover. And so here we are with this. Do I have any expectations musically? Yeah, I mean, I expect to like it. But like I said, don't expect a criticism from me. What it is that I'll do in this particular case now is I will start the product review. This has nothing... Yeah, the OG vocalist of Black Flag, absolutely. This has nothing to do with the music, this current review. It's the product. So you guys, when you buy records, you see how sometimes you feel that some records are good and some records are not made well? That's the stuff I'm looking at. So if you guys want my tips, I'll give you my tips right now. Okay, so usually what I do is I look at how much I paid for the record. Okay, I can tell you immediately that it's not going to be expensive without even looking. You know why? Because it's put out by Fat Possum Records. Fat Possum Records is a great label, and they're not expensive. I think some Black Keys was put out with them. R.L. Burnside's one of their big artists. I think Erie Wanda. There's a whole lot of artists. Yuck is a Fat Possum artist. This is where you guys and your memory helps me. Okay, so they're certainly not necessarily known as a punk label. However, didn't they put out a J LP solo stuff? Didn't they put out a J Retard record as well? I think they put out a J Retard record as well. Blood Visions, was that on Fat Possum? I love that label. I love that label. All the early Towns Van Zandt, that's all Fat Possum also. That's why these records are so affordable. They put out records that are affordable. So, right away, I don't even have to look at the price. I know it's going to be affordable. But let's confirm that. I would say probably Canadian between $25 and $27. Oh, fuck, 35. The costs have gone up. 35. That's also because they got to pay duty fees here. It's going to be more expensive. So 35 would be what? Maybe between $27 and $30 American. So it's not quite on the cheap scale like a lot of the Fat Possum I bought. But it doesn't matter because I bought something I wanted. Okay? Is it an expensive record? $35 is not an expensive record. $35, as much as a lot of you are going to hate it, collecting records is expensive. $35 is on the higher end of what you can expect for a single record. But the $30 record as a regular price point is very much becoming common now. Okay? So, what you're getting with it is a pretty nice album jacket. Not cheap paper stock, it's direct to board, okay, which is to say that it's printed directly on it, on the paper itself. It's a nice stock, card stock. It's not thin. It's not one of those ultra deluxe things either, but acceptable. Very much so. Okay. So that's what this looks like. If you open it up, this is what the gatefold looks like. If we look inside, we have a lyric sheet, which is on really nice cardstock. Actually, it's kind of like textured paper. You know, like the paper that they do those wedding invitations on? It's kind of textured like that. So, it's nice. Okay, so in other words, they're not cheaping out on the whole thing. They're providing a nice package. And it comes with, probably a lined inner sleeve, but I put all of my records in these types of sleeves. Okay, they're different. I buy them separately. So, look. It's a good it's as far as I'm concerned, it's a good package. I have no problem whatsoever. They didn't cheap out. And you know when they cheap out. It's a single record. The cardstock is thinner. There's no paper. You can tell when they're cheaping out. They're not cheaping out. Okay? They're presenting you with a nice package. So, I'm good with that. Now we look at the record. Okay? This is another thing altogether. How is the record pressed? Okay. First, you can probably see that the record is translucent. So you can kind of see through it. There are varying degrees of translucent. Some of them are super translucent. I fucking hate translucent records with a passion. I can tell you why. And it's something that won't apply to anybody else. But for me, because I do radio and I pick different songs, it's a pain in the ass to cue records that are translucent. Because the grooves from the other side, you see them through. So they're really hard to cue. Like I said, if that's not an issue for you, if you're a DJ, it's going to be an issue. If you're not a DJ and you're just going home and dropping the needle, it's never going to be an issue. I can't stand translucent records. That said, this is not completely translucent, and it's got kind of like this smoky thing. You know, like when they got that smoke? So it's kind of like a blue smoke. I don't know what kind. They always have names for these things. Me, personally, give me a black record. But that's me. I know that I don't represent the majority of vinyl consumers. Vinyl consumers like the colors. I know that. Okay. I'm examining right now the finish of the record. There's a few things. Number one that I look for is, are there any surface scuffs or any surface markings? Are there any bumps, dimples? Because you can see all of that. And what it is that I'm seeing here is a clean surface. If I flip it over, I've got a light right there, so it's like shining right there, okay? I see an absolutely clean surface. Here, you know what? Let me just bring up the potency of this light just a little bit so I can get a better look. There we go. So, it might not look good on camera, it might be too much light, but it'll allow me to have a better look at the surface. The thing that bugs me most is when it is that I see the dimples. The fucking dimples drive me crazy. It's a clean record. The other thing I look for, okay, when I look at the finish of a record is I look at, is there any extra vinyl in the middle? Is it clean? Or is there what they call flash? It's absolutely clean. And then what I do is I just grab the record and fuck with the edges. I just touch the edges, and some of them you'll see, some of these records are super sharp and others are perfect. There's a difference. This one's okay. It is. 9 out of 10, I would say. For the edges. Center's super clean, 10 out of 10. There's no surface marks at all. There's no little bumps. There's no pit marks. What the hell do they call that? Non-fill. There's no non-fill happening. 10 out of 10. We haven't looked at the proper thing, though. How heavy is it? It's 140 grams. It's standard. I want you to know, though, that that doesn't make it sound better or worse. 180 grams or 200 gram records don't sound better. The quality of the PVC counts, and the way that they're pressed counts, and the way they're mastered. There's a whole bunch of things, but the actual thickness of the record has nothing to do with sound. I would take a very thin record using great PVC than some of that cheap-ass shit that comes out at 180 grams, put out by Scorpio. And I got a bunch of those. They're no good. All right. Sometimes, you see, Ptolemaic, actually, you're right. The thicker records generally are more warp resistant, but that could be a double-edged sword. See, because the thicker records also don't move as much if you do things like, let's say, put a record clamp on it to make it flat. There's less give. So 180 grams is better if the record's not warped. If it's warped, a clamp will help you better with a 140 gram record. Does that make sense? Do you guys appreciate the nerd talk, the vinyl nerd talk? Because I go into vinyl, you know? I certainly don't think anybody else does this on any other channel. One of the reasons I know that is because my grading system is a grading system I created. Like, I created this, so. And I want you to know also that you're talking, you know, the person speaking to you right now, I've graded the quality of records, the physical product. I've graded over 1,000 new records easy. I promise I know what I'm talking about. Blackbone says, as someone who is starting their vinyl collection, this information is valuable. Well, look, it's my hope that the labels and the bands actually watch this kind of programming and understand this, because you guys are the consumers and you're telling them this. You're absolutely right. Records are expensive. You want to know what you're buying. And I hate to say it, there's some labels that fucking do vinyl like shit. I love Ipecac. I love Ipecac releases. I love Ipecac bands, and I buy Ipecac. Ipecac is the worst fucking label when it comes to making records. They're horrible. Their records suck. But I want Fantoma's records. I want Mike Patton projects. I want Melvin's. So I buy them. But I know I'm going to get a shit record. I know I am. When King Buzzo puts out a new record, what do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy it because I love King Buzzo. I also know I'm going to get a shit pressing, though. You know? They don't need me, though. Whatever. I mean, it's not like I'm trying to badmouth. I'm talking as a consumer. I don't have any agenda. I'm talking as a consumer. If anything, I'm one of their best clients. I buy everything. So... And that's why it is that a show like this is important. Because I'm not one of these fucking manufacturing consent guys. You see the reviews that I'm doing on the physical product right here, right in front of you, in real time. No bullshit. I haven't done anything to this record other than give it a professional clean through my degritter. Okay? That's it. Other than that, I've avoided going to it at all because I want it to be a first time for everything here. So, if you value this kind of programming, support this kind of programming. I'm not some fucking big shot with a yacht. You know who you're supporting? You're supporting a DJ. You're supporting a radio host. You're supporting a radio program. You're supporting independent programming with your subscription. Do you have to? Fuck no. I love you either way. But those of you that are subscribed, you're the ones who help this go on. And I'm telling you, folks, I don't care if you believe me or not, we are the new radio. They're all paying attention. My subscriptions are blowing up right now. The followers are blowing up right now, and they're all paying attention. We are at the beginning of a fucking movement right now. So keep showing it. Is there any run out? Sure, there's always something in the run out for the most part. Okay? There's always run out. Almost always. But whatever. I mean, I'll look at the run out. Is there any special message? I guess that's something worth looking at. A product of BDA Labs. That's what it says in the run out. Sometimes we don't even get that. Sometimes we just get matrix numbers. Yeah. A product of BDA Labs. Okay, so now the most important thing we look at is warping. These are the two most important elements of records. Warp and centering. Very simple. If this is your needle, cartridge, stylus, if the record is off center, it's going to do this. It's going to go left and right. If it's warped, it's going to go up and down. If it's both warped and off center, you're going to get kind of like some circular type of motion, but you're going to see it. Okay? That's what we're going to look like. For me, just looking at this is a pretty flat record. So we're not going to get any major warping issues at all. Let's find out. Off center or on center, that you're going to have to see for yourself. Let me back up the camera. I'll tell you what to look for. Okay. You see this light here? This light here, pay attention to it. I mean, obviously, I'm going to go and look a lot closer. But pay attention to the light on the record. If you see the light bouncing, the record's got a warp in it. If you see it really moving around, then the record's very warped. You're going to see it right there. Just pay attention to the light. What I'll do is I'll mute everything so I can't hear it. And I'm going to go right down and look at it and look to see if there's any left-right motion, if it's centered properly, and any up-down motion. And we'll see what we get. So first step, you see? We let the record spin. What are we seeing? Are we seeing any light jumping around? I see light jumping around right there. You see it? That indicates that there's probably some kind of warp. I'm going to get right down and tell you exactly what it is right now in real time. I will likely be a bit away from the mic, but what you do also when you drop the needle on your record is drop it at the very beginning as much as possible, because the warp will be more prominent. If you're going to see up and down or side to side, it's going to be more prominent at the beginning of the record. If you hear my dogs losing their fucking marbles, it's because my wife probably just got home from work. The master, the queen came. Alright. So yeah, look. I don't even have to get down and I immediately see a warp. It's a visible warp. It's an 8. Easy. Is it worse than an 8? I'll tell you exactly what I look for. 8, 9 is kind of almost cosmetic. To me, this looks worse. Where it starts getting into 6 and 7 is if you see space between the platter and your actual record. If there's space. If the space is small, that you can't fit a dime, it's a pass, but it's bad. If there's a space. If you can fit a dime between the biggest space between the platter and the record, to me that's a fail. Let's find out. You're gonna have to excuse the dogs, man. Okay. So look, there's actually 2 warps in the record. Okay? I'll tell you what I mean. With 1 revolution, how often do you see the needle jump? Sometimes you see it's a fucking wave factor. You could surf on it. Sometimes you just see 1 little warp, so it bumps once. In this case, it's bumping twice. So there's 2 places where it's warped. There is also space between the platter and the record. It's not a big space, but there's a space. So when can I fit a dime? No, I cannot. So it turns out in the 6-7 range in terms of the score. I would give this maybe a 6.5 to 7. Because it's a fucking bummer to watch your record wobble around like this. It's a bummer to watch it. I paid $35 for the record. On the other hand, it's dead center. It's fucking dead center. And I'm telling you, if I had to choose between a record that's warped, although I don't like the warp, I accept 8-9 warps. 6-7s, I fucking hate 6-7 warps, and obviously anything else under that is completely unacceptable. It's a fail. But one of the pleasures of buying a record, and one of the reasons that people like me buy records, is because we love watching the damn thing go round and round and round. It might seem stupid to you, but it's not. It really isn't. Think about it. The whole point of why we buy records is because it provides us with a qualitative experience. There's a certain hypnotic thing to just watching a record go around. It feels right. It's a circle. And that's why I love these centered records, because it's just a perfect revolution. It's a perfect revolution. Warp is not as bad as uncentered vinyl. I'll take a warp over uncentered vinyl. The warp here is more significant than I like, though. 6.5, 7 out of 10, I don't like it. But it means that I gotta pay attention to it, and it's there. No matter how close or far I am, I'm gonna see it. But ultimately, it's a pass. You remember when you used to get shit grades in math? It's like that. I mean, you passed, but your grades are shit. It's like that. You follow? Alright. So look at what I did. Generally speaking, if you want to get rid of a warp, get yourself a clamp. I mean, this is a professional clamp from a company called Nasotech. I was lucky enough to get it as a sample. If you wanted to buy this, I think this is a $300 clamp. It's freaking amazing, though. Completely amazing. Uncentered records messes with your stereo experience. Yes, 100%. The thing is that so does warping, but less so. When a record's off center, it means that the sides of your tire are getting worn out. The sides of your grooves are getting worn out faster. So yeah, I have a professional clamp. So the minute I do that, there's immediately less warp. Immediately. Oops. So overall, what score do we give this? I don't know. There's no score, but super clean edges. Nice packaging. The worst thing about the record is the warp. Alright, so that's it. This is where it is that we clip. That's the physical review of the record. I give it a pass, I guess, because perhaps your record will not be as warped. That's possible. However, I can tell you one thing. When it is that a record's off-center, chances are your record is off-center too, because they're all pressed together. If all of these were off, if my copy of this record of this color is off-center, the other ones are off-center. With warp, not necessarily. So, in terms of that, you might not get the warp issue I have, but you're going to get a record that's dead center, and I can tell you that the machine that they use, whichever one it is clean. It presses a good record. Alright, folks. I'm done talking about the product. Did you guys appreciate the product review? If you did, please remember to give us a like on the YouTubes. I will continue to bring this type of programming to you. As a matter of fact, if you tune in tomorrow, I'm doing a very good old man live cast of an album that I can't wait to play for you once I find it. It's in here. I bought a bunch of records. Hold on. Here, you want to see records? The record I'm talking about is tomorrow I'm going to do the new Afghan Wigs record. So we're going to live stream and I'm going to do a physical product review of the new Afghan Wigs. Now, those of you who know me know I'm an enormous fan of Greg Dooley and Afghan Wigs. Huge. Okay, he's worked with Mark Lanigan as well. God rest in peace. But this here is the new Afghan Wigs out on Sub Pop Records. I'm going to do a full product review and we're going to listen to it. This is one of my favorite bands from the 90s. Very possibly my favorite. Out of all those alternative grunge bands, this is my favorite grunge band. And they're not grunge. I love Afghan Wigs. So tomorrow, finally, the record's been out 2 weeks or something. Tomorrow, finally, I drop the needle and I will listen to the latest record from probably my favorite band of the 90s together with you. If you want to do the, again, product review and everything. For now, let's do this off. If there's any people from the label, appropriate publicists and all the rest of this stuff, get in contact with me. If I bought your record, I'd be down with doing a review as long as I'm free to do it 100% honestly. Alright, we ready for this? Alright, folks, let's punk it up. Those of you who are on YouTube, if you want a bigger experience, come join us on Twitch. We got 60 people on Twitch. Our Twitch channel has been doing really well, thanks especially to our friends. You never forget your friends, ever. Smoke them if you got them, friends. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to be rolling a few. During this time, I forgot to roll before the show. You know how it is. I'm a stoner. I guess I'm going to have another edible, too.
pessimism, your layers of crime. Sterilize the undesirables in the kingdom of the mind. Artificial warfare, rocket sweat glare. Lower the bar of discord, all those missiles will rattle. Push to the brink, but our ethics, mother of hell. Cannibals for currency, privatize economy.
It's amazing already.
By any means necessary. By any means necessary. Slice of the pie. Slice of the pie. Slice of the pie. Filthy fingers on the trigger. Superiority to violence. Using massacre as an excuse to kill the other half. Artificial warfare. Rocket red glare. By any means necessary. By any means necessary. Slice of the pie. Slice of the pie. Slice of the pie.
We having a good time? All right, I'm ready to smoke this. Let's go! Pits!
Interstellar messages.
This is amazing.
Look to planet X.
Make sure you march to the car, Lauren. Go march to the car. March!
To a different place. The evolution of the human race. Stepping back.
He sounds amazing.
Explosion of thought. Dream becomes reality. Look outside the box. Walk through walls to a different place. Time will come for a superior race.
Six minutes to the next 420. I gotta be prepared. Who's rolling with me? Let's go. I'm on my second edible, so that's 50 milligrams now. You're not offended if I smoke a joint? I hope not. Because I'll do it anyway.
Forever changed. Surge of blood. Ceiling of clouds. This disappeared without a trace. Another world, the other realm.
If you don't have, I guess I'll smoke for you.
Not of this earth.
I've got plenty. I never run out of green, friend.
Los Angeles. Nothing is fabricated. It's an impossible hoax. The hour of broken is here. The hour of broken is here. Mining the moon. Cross the line. They're watching us. Black birds fall from the sky. The unexplained, left in the dark. Our chromosomes harvest the earth. Born of Los Angeles. Born of Los Angeles. Nothing is fabricated. It's an impossible hoax. The hour of reckoning is here. The hour of reckoning is here.
Yeah, I very much love this, man. This is my shit. This doesn't sound quite as straightforward punk hardcore as the album I have. It's more nuanced and I really like it. It's almost like, wait a second, have they like mellowed maybe a bit? There's almost prog elements if you listen to the drumming. This, it's pretty prog.
Concrete, comatose. Perpetrators become
Melody, you know?
heroes. How far will they go? We deserve to know. Kill them, be heard. Kill them, be heard.
You know what it reminds me of?
Kill them, be heard.
Any of you know the album Crossover by DRI?
At the children's prison camp. Divide the flock, wash your brain.
2020, friends.
It's all the way back to zero.
Time to smoke up. Let's get high.
A nasty strain infects the promised land. Criminals for cash who serve the ruling hand. They own what we hear and see. Everywhere you look, they're the enemy.
Who's with me?
Invisible empire. Invisible empire. It's all the way back to zero. It's all the way back to zero. Mankind trace back to a single source.
Tell me, Philip, what would you rather do? Be listening to this on Spotify or together in community like we're doing now?
Ghosts and electricity, machinery multiplies, rearrange the building blocks into our own demise. It's what we want, objects of design, calculated cruelty, you'll get left behind. Once a genie leaves the bottle, she's never going back. A day will come when we lose control and the circuit is gone. It's what we want, objects of design, calculated cruelty, you'll get left behind. Ghosts and electricity, machinery multiplies, rearrange the building blocks into our own demise. It's what we want, objects of design, calculated cruelty, you'll get left behind.
You enjoying it up to now? I've definitely got thoughts. certainly more nuanced. They're a fucking prog band.
They can't have us in a panic once we learn to split the atom. Deep black magic. What is their ultimate goal? Something you don't need to know. Unseen, unknown are our thoughts, not our own. Like little blue, smoke them out. Illusion of threat. A plague of fake investigation. And it is divide the nation. Roulette team, ace in the hole. What is their ultimate goal? Something you don't need to know. Unseen, unknown are our thoughts, not our own. That little group, smoke them out.
Just went to pick out some records for show and tell. What's going on? You having a good time? I hope so, because I am. Enjoying the music? We're going to get you guys involved. I am preparing a poll. You guys will weigh in your feeling on this record we're listening to right now. Is it a yay? Is it a nay? Or is it an either way? Yay, you like it and you would buy it. Nay, it's not for you. Either way, you can take it or leave it. Which is your vote? The poll starts right now. Twitch listeners, Twitch streamers, go vote. How are you feeling about this record? Let's have a conversation about it. Whenever you see me get up, it's because I'm going and get some records. As I listen to this, what I do is I start thinking of different bands. For whatever reason. Not because I have to be right or anything like that, but just for whatever reason. I engage my free associative mind. So if it makes me think of a band, there's a reason it makes me think of it. I don't even think about it, I just go pull the record. And then when I pull the record, I start thinking about what is it about it that makes this sound that way. And that's the subject of the second part of our show. Once we're done listening to side 2 of Off, I'm going to go play the records it made me think of. Okay? This is the show and tell part of the show. If you enjoy the show, by the way, hey man, subscribe to the channel. Makes a big difference. We are not very far from our 10,000 viewers. What is it? 568 away. Can we hit 9,500 by the end of the day? I hope so. What are your thoughts of this record? Do you like it? Do you not? Right now, I see 6 votes. Everybody seems to like it, of who voted. That's awesome. Okay, so what albums did it make me think of? Okay, first thing overall, I would say that I like this. I really like this. It's nothing like what I thought I would hear. This is a fucking prog record. It's a prog record to me. I'm listening to it and it's far more nuanced. The drummer's a fucking beast. Where's the drummer from? I mean, he's all over the place. There's so much rhythm. The anger is there. The message is there. So that hardcore element is always there. And it's not watered down. It doesn't just sound like they lost their teeth. Their teeth are still there. It's just that they're expressing what they do differently. There is nuance. There's more songwriting. They're not afraid of melody. Whereas, I mean, if you listen to like Circle Jerks, certainly, or even their earlier stuff, to me it felt more in your face, you know, kind of like that raw punk and hardcore thing. There's far more nuance to this. And it made me think of a few things, you know, because now all of a sudden it's kind of crossing genres. And it's almost like, to me, upon first listen, right? To me, it sounds like a fucking punk band that's gone prog. That's played prog. That's at least experimenting with prog elements. And I would have never associated off with prog of any type before this record, ever. That's the big left turn for me. It's a good left turn, though, because I happen to love prog. And I am not a gatekeeper. I'm not somebody who locks a band into a sound and say it has to sound like this, so it's different. Listen, you talk to me, I liked the last Mars Volta record. A lot. A lot. Doesn't sound anything like previous Mars Volta, so what? They don't owe me the same record. I like what they do. There's an enormous skill level there too, but they're not afraid. It's Punk 3000. Punk's progressing. That's exactly it, sure. I mean, listen, I have great respect and love for the raw aggression of all of the early stuff and even the bands that are still doing that now. I love it. Idiota Civilizzato. I think of those guys. Where are they? Out of Switzerland or something? Yeah. So I'm thinking, so what I did is I started pulling some records that make me think of this. The first one I thought of, I'm going to do show and tell now, so those of you who like the show and tell part of the show, this is where you look at your screen, I show you records, and I tell you why I think, what my thoughts are on it. The thoughts are mine. I'm not telling you I'm right. I'm just telling you that when I listen to a new piece of music, I draw upon what I've listened to in the past. Okay? So, it immediately made me think of DRI crossover. Not DRI in general, but DRI crossover specifically. Because the album did exactly that. It crossed over. Prior to this, DRI were a straight up hardcore band. Punk band. Whatever you want to call it. And I loved them for that period. And I have those records and I play them all the time. At this point, they start embracing the metal. Their sound goes more metal. Definitely. And maybe it's because I've spoken to a lot of metalheads. Lots of people love this record. I don't know how the hardcore fans feel about crossover, though. But it's a crossover album where it is, okay, and you saw a lot of this happen. You saw a lot of hardcore crossover into metal, a lot of metal go into crossover into hardcore. I mean, Slayer released a record of nothing but hardcore covers. If I can remember the name of the fucking record now. Richard hung himself! Richard hung himself! You understand? I can't remember the name of the goddamn record. I have it. But I'm a stoner, so my memory's not good. So it makes me think of DRI. So we're probably going to hear some DRI so that you can see what I mean. It made me definitely think of Mastodon. Mastodon has definitely been accused of selling out. Mastodon is one of my favorite bands. Right up until the end, and you know what? Their sounds changed very dramatically at some points where they went super pop. More than ever before. Certainly more than their first two records. And here, it's at this point with this record where you really start hearing the sound change. Curl of the Burl is the tune where it's like, okay, well, they got those pop elements, yes. Undisputed Attitude, and I'll play some Undisputed Attitude for you in the second half of the show. So here is where they start changing the sound, and it winds up changing a lot, okay? And I had actually gotten off the Mastodon wagon, only to realize with the new record that I really like them, so I wound up buying the whole catalog. And guess what? No matter how much their sound changed, and no matter how much they got accused of selling out by certain fans who expected Blood Mountain over and over again, they're still fucking good. I mean, I think. You don't have to agree with me, I think. I buy the records, right? I pay for them. Opeth. Why do I reference Opeth? Because it's another one of those bands that crosses over genres. Death metal vocals with prog metal, the way it's been done by Opeth, is something that I'd never seen before. To me, it was one of those bands that, yeah, these guys are crossing genres and crossing genres in a fantastic way. The death metal growl turned off a lot of prog fans because they're not metal fans, they're not death metal fans. But fuck, if he didn't put those two genres together better than anybody else, man, Opeth. Opeth is to me now just a prog band. A good prog band. I got a lot of records, so I'm not going to show you all the Opeth records. I got 9 or 10 of them. But I picked Blackwater Park because Blackwater Park is the first Opeth record that I really got into. And then it made me think of Mars Volta. You hear the youth of the early Mars Volta records and you hear how unhinged it is. As much as it's stop on a dime and technically massively proficient, it's straight ahead energy all the time. And I think what happens with age is that people learn how to use the spaces a little bit more and they sharpen their message. Their message has more flavor. Their art has been stewing for a longer time. So, as much as people generally, like, very often don't like the later work of artists, I don't know, man. I generally don't have a problem with it. So, it made me think of these guys too. And I would say that prior to listening to the Off record, I wouldn't have thought of those bands. Simply wouldn't have thought of it at all. During this entire time, we got some results. I'm going to tell you the results of our poll. Holy fuck, okay. So as we're listening to Off, free LSD, 100% of the votes, yay. 0 for nay, 0 for either way. Right? Does it sound like anything before? No, not at all. 15 like just a clean sweep? Yes. It's the first time that the yay gets a clean sweep over everything. What happens generally here is that we get a whole bunch of yays, maybe one nay, maybe 2 nays, and some either ways. Like some people, take it or leave it. It's not something they'd buy, but they listen to the show, so they listen to it. But that's what radio is. You're listening to stuff. In this particular case, the vote is 100% for yeah. I dig it and I'd buy it. That's cool. If the labels are listening to this right now and watching the show, they can understand how powerful such a message is. Eventually, they'll understand how powerful shows like ours are, and you're going to see, they're going to come knocking. Just watch, guys. Content creators, work on your shit, man. Get good. Put in the hours. We will get together. We will help each other. Where is my next follower? Step up if you like the show. Become a follower. Where's the next subscriber? Support this independent art. You see what I'm doing here? I'm the real motherfucking deal. You ain't giving this money to a corporation. I use every cent of what you do, your tips, your subscriptions, all of it. And we keep going with the shows. I think that that's what every Twitch streamer wants to do. So, please understand the power of that message. It's not like subscribing to Netflix. You understand what I'm saying? You're subscribing directly to a channel. You're supporting directly a channel. You are making sure that that channel keeps going. And the other guys, Amazon, they're watching. They're checking out all the numbers. Wow, look at how many people support this channel. How many people... And the thing is that you have to understand that you're the guys who are showing them. We're showing them the way forward. This is the new radio. I'm telling you, to me, I liken this to Napster. You remember Napster? Same deal. Once you squeeze the ketchup out of the bottle, you can't put that ketchup back in. This is not going away. So what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to find a way, the industry's going to have to find a way to deal with it, cope with it, and monetize it. They have to solve problems, and it'll get there. For now, here's number 2, okay? Here's side 2. Thanks for tuning in. This is interactive radio. This is what I do, Brenda. This is exactly what I do. It's different. There's some people that are going to be turned off by the talk. I completely get this. I really do. But I think the important thing for every creator is that they find their voice and they stick to it. Don't try to be like everybody else. Do your thing. To me, I do radio. I love radio. I like interacting with you. When I see the name Purple Haze, I've met Purple Haze. I've had a meal with him. I've had a beer with him. I've gone record shopping with him. I know who he is. He supports my show. You understand? As I get to see you, Brenda, I will get to know you eventually. I will. I'll get to know your musical taste. It takes time for all of that to happen. It doesn't happen overnight, but real bonds are built. And some people don't want that. You know? To me, the idea of a voice accompanying you, like old radio while we're listening to songs, wherever you are, you're sitting on your couch having a drink. I like that. I really appreciate the spirit of that. And I appreciate the spirit of radio like John Peel's program, which actively supported independent artists and actively introduced people. That was the place where people said, oh, I first heard it on John Peel. Well, what you're going to hear coming up over and over again with yourself and even with the listeners, I first heard that on Vinyl Junkies. That's what's happening everywhere. That's why people tune in. Because you're going to hear firsts here. And it's not because I'm trying to give you the latest and greatest. It's because I give a shit about it enough to buy the records and spend my entire life to it. Because I'm devoted to it. Because I'm passionate. And because I don't sell out my fucking principles. That's worth something in this world. Maybe not to you, but to me. So, every time I earn a subscription, makes me proud. It makes me feel like I earned it. Every time I get a follower, makes me feel like I earned it. Every time I get a patron, it makes me feel like I earned it. Every time the new patrons come. You know what I mean? All love. I'm going to shut up now. I'm done. Side 2.
Community, radiate the population, rewrite history, rewrite yesterday, more persistence itself. How do you
That's
see
exactly.
it? Now you don't.
That's exactly why you're here, man, in the planet. I'm happy to keep you busy. I'm happy to keep you company.
Fractured mirrors with the intense horn. The triple blast debris working to disinform. Useful idiots. Who are we serving? A life of its own. Muddy the waters. Carpet pulled out from under the facts. Rewrite history. Rewrite yesterday. For persistence itself. How do you see it? Now you don't.
Yeah, I mean, lyrically, certainly, Dead Kennedys come to mind. be a good after show. I mean, you see, this is the stuff that I've never heard Off do before. This is certainly the most interesting Off records to me. I mean, it's outstanding.
Now let's get our path from the door. A light that hates light. Set it off, missing head, mastered commotion. Prevent the worst, make to the bottom. Great deception, should there not be stopped. Destroy and destroy. Stir up the action. Stir up the action. Some the bone sky. Some the bone sky. Quick and code of conduct. Progress is products. Came from birth, culture of shithead. Suffocating secrets. Food of despair, farewell address. Divide and conquer. Truth and not be stopped. Destroy and destroy. Stir up the action. Stir up the action. Some the bone sky. Some the bone sky. Empty the rifles. Anything that moves. Shake down seizure. Something the wound. No accident. Your reward is punishment. Fear controls the world. All is gone. Nothing learned. Smoking gun. Smoking gun. Country in chaos. Cost of liberty. Keep them stupid. Magnetic lunacy. No accident. Your reward is punishment. Fear controls the world. All is gone. Nothing learned. Smoking gun. Smoking gun. The hatchet man has come undone. Eat the pain. Smoking gun. Psychotic reaction. Judgment Day countdown. Jingle is war flag. Prescription for a breakdown. No accident. Your reward is punishment.
So is anybody actually going to go buy the record? I think I saw one say that you just ordered it?
Space-time continuum. Hybrid galactic highways.
See, the guitar here reminds me of Sword. The Sword?
Concerned with our hostilities. They survive, start again. Time to reconsider our beliefs. Nowhere to hide. Without warning, out of the void. Underwater city, they're already here. Not safe to live in your town. What if all of this is true? Something not human. With the mothership pass, vessels of different kind. Warp drive, anti-gravity. Nowhere to hide. Without warning, out of the void. Underwater city, now they're here.
I'm absolutely interested in seeing what Keith Morris's energy is going to be. The vocals are much less bombastic. See you, Purple Haze. Nice seeing you.
Operation Overcast. NASA and the JPL. Hitler had a honeymoon. Forthright for the USA. Can't get more fucked up. It can't get more fucked up. Collectors for the OSS. Warfare with bubonic plague. Scientific worst achievements. Seduced by evil promises. Can't get more fucked up. It can't get more fucked up. He made that fruitcake look higher than a kite. Big wig in the CIA. You don't get to walk away. They had a whorehouse, dosing all the Johns. Worried about the Ruskies, threw that guy right out the window.
What's going on, Blue Letter Films?
Look
You
at
good?
me make him jump. B-L-S-D. B-L-S-D. Transferred to the West Coast. Pinstripe alcoholic. Big win. Tournament
Hello, everyone.
damage.
Bonjour, bonsoir, buongiorno, buonasera, guten Nacht. Bon Deutsche. Gute Nacht. Yes, gute Nacht. Yeah, you see the last comment there in the comment section. Pretty much, this is nuts. It's fucking great. That's it. It's absolutely not what I expected in any way from an off record. It delivered the elements that I want from an off record, but it also delivered a whole lot more. To me, this is their best record. I mean, I know, obviously, look, it all depends on. History shows everything, which is to say that you wind up going to the records that you're drawn to. I know myself, I can see myself going to this all the time. This is fucking tight, man. Is there any kind of big nerd conversation happening right now about whether Off sold out or whether Off is going prog or going soft? Is that conversation happening? The reason it is that I'm asking is because those are the types of conversations that happen with the gatekeepers. Are the gatekeepers happy with this record or not? Metal Phoenix from... I've been meaning to talk to you. Metal DJ Phoenix. Come in, we gotta talk later. Thank you for your raid. I appreciate it. But I have plans for you. I need to talk to you about a metal raid train. And I'm going to help you grow your channel. Thank you. Guys, we're going to put together a metal train for you soon. It's fucking awesome. Metal Monday. Look for it. We're organizing. Look, I dig what we're doing. I dig this record. For this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off YouTube so that the episode can stay all together. If you wish to catch the show where I play music that we talked about, bands that we talked about while listening to the new Off record, please join us for our radio show. It's going to be happening exclusively on Twitch right now. If you don't have your Twitch account yet, then please head on over to Twitch and get your account started, and we'll keep talking music. All right? Thank you for listening to Vinyl Junkies Radio. And just like that, what we did is